There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth. Put the Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all.
And we all got dreams.
What's going on, everybody? We're finna get ready to get this show started, and I'm just gonna let y'all know I'm gonna give a public service announcement. I'm gonna go off and have some fun on some certain people, out of fun. No, I'm not gonna disrespect anybody. This is a friendly show, but just trying to have a little fun with a few people and everything. But we're gonna get into some real talk about this football game and this football team in general. So we're finna go ahead and get into that. I want everybody to please share this show out, and we're finna get ready to get started. Some of y'all are not gonna like what I got to say, but I'm gonna tell y'all some truth. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. And I just think that is the best way to be. And hey, we can all agree to disagree at the end of the day. Just like y'all, I love my Titans, I love my team, just like y'all do. And but at the same time, I'm going to come real to you as best as I can, because at the end of the day, that's the only way I know how to be. And, I think all of y'all out there would appreciate it, if you have some real and some honesty, and not just, gas bagging, the team up only when they're good, and, and just being honest even when they're not good. And so that's what we're going to get into. And I just want to preface that, because I know some people, there are going to be some people out there that are going to take things that I say completely out of context and are going to, take it the wrong way, talking about I'm not going to be a real fan and, that how dare you and all that. But it's my show. I'm going to say whatever I want to say. But I figure I get that public service announcement right now. But we finna get ready to get into it, talk about this game, and definitely talk about this team. And everything going. So we're finna get started in less than 30 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody? Good evening, everybody, Titan Nation, and all fans around the world. Welcome in to TNT Postgame. I am your host, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer, and I'm actually going to get the correct one up there. There we are. Welcome to TNT Postgame. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth, and we're gonna have a very lively show and discussion today. And we're really gonna get into this game, and we're really gonna talk about the Tennessee Titans in general, and so we're really gonna get into this team, and we're definitely gonna talk about it, and really a lot of things that I just need to get off my chest um, about this game. And so I'm actually trying to share the show out. Again, y'all definitely do the same thing, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Definitely make sure y'all share the show out and let everybody know where they can come and join us. And again, this is a family, this is a family show. We agree to disagree, and we're gonna talk crap and things like that. But at the end of the day, we tighten up at the end of the day, no matter what. Even though a lot of us may not be happy about this team and everything right now, but I may have a little bit different of opinion that some people may not agree with, but we're going to get right into it. But before we do, again, make sure y'all share the show out. Also, make sure you check out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcasts. This episode and the live stream are going to be up tonight, I promise you, after this show. So if you happen to miss any of it, definitely go back and listen to it. I'll have the audio up for that in just a bit. Also, everybody out there, make sure you give a like to the show. Definitely give a like to the show. And definitely also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and just show everybody that this is the #1 Titans content show on YouTube on the planet, Titans and Truth. I definitely do appreciate everybody tuning in. But first off, the Tennessee Titans fall 31-28 in overtime. I want to give my thoughts about this game first before I really go into what I really want to do and everything. But this game is probably the craziest game I have ever seen the Tennessee Titans play. And I'm pretty sure there are some other ones that could go on the list, but this one has to take the cake. I see Big Dog. I see Titans Rossi. What a game, what a loss. I was there. It sucked. And I bet it did. Big Dog says, at least we put up a huge fight. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We lost. So, Traylon only got a few snaps and Phillips was a healthy scratch. I definitely agree. And so, AZ Big saying I'm disgusted. LaShondra saying what's up. And I want y'all to tune in because we gonna get into a lot of this. I guarantee you. We gonna have some fun tonight. And so everybody's giving their thoughts, talking about, missing the extra point, going to overtime, disgusted about the Colts on some play because the Colts on some plays got lucky. And I agree. I definitely agree. Philip says, I got a lot to say about Vrabel, as do I. So stay tuned. We gonna get into that because I got some stuff to say about that. But let's talk about the game first, get that out the way. This game, again, one of the craziest games I have ever seen. The Tennessee Titans started off good offensively. I think they had a good drive. Got the ball, marched right down the field on their first drive, scored touchdown, go up 7-0, just off to a great, great start. Only problem was the Colts came right back down and did the exact same thing. And I mean, the Colts just basically, it was like they kind of went shot for shot. Titans go down and score first. Colts do the exact same thing and got it to Alec Pierce, which I thought Alec Pierce wasn't no burner, but he gets behind people and basically messed our secondary completely up. And then, you get Derrick Henry you got Derrick Henry in space. Then he scores another touchdown later in the game. on a very good 8-play, 77-yard drive and things like that. So, I mean, some things went really well, but then, you had some bad, you had some things go wrong. And, defensively, the Colts, basically kept them out of the end zone. After 17-7, after the Titans go up 17-7, the game kind of stopped for them. And the Colts just slowly started to inch back. And I was like, the Colts are making this interesting. And so, the Colts come back in, make it interesting. And the thing about it is, Gardner Minshew runs this offense extremely well because Shane Steichen, again, I've said this before, came from Philly. Minshew was in Philly. They come together in Indianapolis. He knows how to run this offense. And Shane Steichen knew how to get Michael Pittman open in space, get him open in the zones, and Gardner Minshew just kept feeding him the ball. And I don't blame him one bit for doing that. And all I kept thinking was, how come the Tennessee Titans won't do that with DeAndre Hopkins? Michael Pittman had 16 targets, 11 catches. DeAndre Hopkins had 12 targets, only 5 catches. And all I keep thinking is, how come we don't do that with D-Hop? How come we don't do that where we just get D-Hop, find the soft spots of the zone, hit them, and just let it rack up? And people talk about, well, you can't just focus so much on D-Hop. Yes, you can. Gardner Minshew focused a lot on Michael Pittman, and it worked. Even when the Titans did a very good job of shutting down Zach Moss to the tune of only 14 carries for 51 yards. That's one thing they did right. But then as the game went on, after the Titans went up 17-7, Mike Vrabel thought he was comfortable. Thought, oh, yeah, we're up 17-7. We're good. Then the second half happened. And all I can say is, what can go wrong did go wrong. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, you come out in the second half, you got to go in and make adjustments. You got to go in and make adjustments. And, you go in and make adjustments and things like that, which look like they didn't. And then you let the Colts go on a long, almost 10-minute drive to start the third quarter. And I'm actually finding that stat right now. The Colts go on a long 19-play, 70-yard, 10-minute drive. 10-minute drive. And you did absolutely nothing to stop it. So you had nearly 20, 30 minutes. You had like maybe 20, 30 minutes at halftime and then another 10 minutes. So you had almost 40 minutes to figure out how you're going to play offense in the second half. And you come out like that, 3 and out. You give up a 10-minute drive, 3 points, then you go 3 and out right out of the gate. And so you come out of the gate, you give up 3 points. It was already 17-13 at the half. Now it's 17-16. You got to punt the ball away again, and then this is where it really gets wacky. Then you got to punt the ball away again, get your block punt. You get your punt blocked because you didn't set, your dumb special teams coordinator, which we're going to talk about, didn't have everybody lined up correctly and set up to try to stop the block. They scoop and score. They take the lead. Now, yeah, you get the pick 2, not pick 6 on the 2-point conversion, which I thought was a bad idea by the Colts anyway, but I do kind of understand why. They wanted to make it a 7-point lead. And Amani Hooker takes it back, not for a touchdown, but for 2 points. And then the very next possession, not only did you get a punt blocked once, you got it blocked twice. Back-to-back possessions. I know it's only been since like 1991 since the last time that might have happened, but I have never seen that happen before. I have never seen that happen before. And then make matters worse, you get your punter hurt. And now Stonehouse is out for the season because of that. Because Craig Ackerman's stupid tail, a gunner comes off the receiver and comes up to the line preparing to blitz the punter. And nobody picked up on that. Nobody looked out for it. Nobody saw, maybe didn't call timeout. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then your punter gets hurt. Now, then you go down and score, but you miss the extra point because you don't have your normal holder in Stonehouse. Ryan Tannehill has to hold the ball. And he missed the extra point, and I could tell the laces were kind of off to the right. It wasn't fully laces out, and that's what every kicker likes, laces out. But Tannehill has never done that before or hasn't done it in a long time. And Mike Vrabel and the coaches basically said, we've never worked on it. Tannehill has said he's never worked on that since he's been a Titan. He has never worked on that. That was his first time doing that in a long time. And then they're showing on the Titantron and all over the TV, Tannehill practicing how to hold. And Nick Folk trying to help him out. I'm like, first of all, you kind of should have been prepared for that. I understand that's kind of an anomaly because you don't expect the punter to get hurt. But you should have been prepared for that. You should have already had that in play just in case. It's like an insurance policy. So, I mean, like I said, what can go wrong will go wrong, and it did. And crazy as it's kept, you still had a chance to win the game, which is crazy. You had a couple of chances to finish it off in regulation, but you couldn't do it. You missed the extra point, which would have put you up 1. And then you end up having to go to overtime. And all I thought was, I had a bad feeling we were going to lose. Now we go down and score a field goal and make it 28-25. All in my mind, I'm thinking, the Colts are going to win this game. And as soon as I saw that long pass to Alec Pierce, I'm like, game's over. I was like, game's over. As soon as that pass was completed, I'm like, yep, there it is. And that's exactly what happened. Titans fall 31-28. Will Levis, not a terrible game, but not a great game either. Threw for 224 yards, got a touchdown to Diop. Derrick Henry had a great game, wasted his effort. He gets hurt with a hit by Zaire Franklin, which I know Zaire Franklin is thinking, yeah, I took the king out. And even more than that, Derrick Henry gets hurt. Big Jeff is hurt. Now he's going to miss a few weeks. Stonehouse is done for the year. We lost a lot. The Titans lost a lot more than a game yesterday. Now, I'll give it up to Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears, 16 carries, 75 yards, and a couple of catches down the backfield and things like that. Danico Autry had a pretty good game as well. But all in all, the Tennessee Titans lost a lot more than a football game last week. Wiley got hurt too. Yep. Big dog, I saw that. Bruce James said that was a helmet-to-helmet penalty. No, it was not. No, it was not. That was just a nice, hard hit. Believe me, I looked at it. So, Titans lost 31-28. Got a lot of guys hurt. But I will say this. Me personally, and this is what I got to say. This was a blessing in disguise. And let me tell you why. The season, I told y'all a few weeks ago that the season was over. Been over. What did I tell all of y'all? I said you need to watch after the game in London. I said I'm going to watch the rest of the season with an open mind. If we win, I'll be like, okay, good. We got to win. If we lose, I'm not going to shed one tear or be mad at all if we lose. Hey, draft stock. So after yesterday, I'm not going to lie to y'all. It was as Derek Roberts would say, it was a healthy loss. I'm kind of happy. It's a nice, good fight. But losing is a good thing for us, y'all. The season is over. I know there are some of y'all that are going to say, Truth, you are crazy. Why do you want us to lose? You should want to win every game. Why is it going to matter? We're 4-8. And this game was probably the last chance we really had to win a game. I told y'all that before the Panthers game. I said the Panthers and the Colts, these are the last two games we probably have a real shot at winning. And I said we were only going to win one of those two. I told y'all that. I said they were only going to win one of those two. And darn it, it happened exactly the way I thought. Now, I did say Carolina was going to be the team we lose to, and maybe we beat the Colts. But we're in the same boat. The season is over. These last 5 games are not going to matter because you're pretty much not making the playoffs. And I, honest to God, do not see us winning another game. Honesty. Be honest with yourself. Next week, we're already losing now. When I said that on the stream yesterday, it is all over. There is no way on God's green earth the Tennessee Titans have a prayer of winning that game next week on Monday night. The line already started off at -13. Miami, a 13-point favorite. It has already went up to 14 points in less than 12 hours. And it's only going to continue to go up. I'm telling you, I'm waiting on the player props to come out. Whatever the line is, take Miami minus whatever. If the line gets up to -21, I'm taking Miami. I'm taking Miami not only to win, but to cover. Tyreek Hill is going to run all over us. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. The Titans have zero. Matter of fact, the Titans have negative 99% chance to win. Bruce James comes with a super chat. I appreciate the super chat. First drive in the third. Run, pass. Why do we keep doing that? Who's the idiot behind this? We're going to get to that in just a second because that was bad. You had nearly 30 to 40 minutes to figure out what to do because the Colts got the ball first and when they got 6 points. They got 3 points before the half and then 3 points in the third. You had all that time to come up with something. And that was the best you came up with? Run, pass, punt? I felt like we were back in the old days, in the early time with Todd Downing. So You know, this is a problem. And there is no answer to that problem because the season is over. XD, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, get me some points. That's what I want. Get me points. I'm trying to win my fantasy. I just need 17 points between Ingram, Etienne, Lawrence. I just need 17 points to win. That's all I need. So again, the season's over, y'all. And now that I've talked about the game, I mean, I'll go in a little bit further. Derrick Henry again had a very good game. You know, I did see the scuffle. I did see the argument between Levis and D Hop. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like seeing that at first. But at the end, I know they both want the same thing. Levis really should have thrown it to where D Hop could have had a chance to compete for it. I put that pass more on Levis than I do D Hop. And that's something he has to get better at. So but I do think that I did hear that, you know, Levis and D Hop, they talked it over after, and basically that they hold each other to a higher standard and things like that. And you should. You definitely should. You should definitely hold yourself to a higher standard. And the fact that they do, it is a good thing. You know? So that's fine. You hold each other to a higher standard. You both want to be better. And you should want that, because if you don't, why are you playing the game? So, I mean, yeah, and I agree. And I did hear somebody say, you know, Will Levis shouldn't have did it like that because you ain't got enough skins in the wall. And that's true. That's true. But I do like a little bit of moxie. I do like a little bit of moxie. I like a little moxie with him. I see it. He's trying to develop the leadership qualities. But you don't do that on the sideline. You do that in the locker room, or you just sit down. You sit down on the bench, is like, hey, I honestly thought you were doing this. I thought you were doing, I had it where you were doing this. That's why I went there, and you went that way, and I went this way. We just got to be better communication on that. And then he say his piece, and then we go on. So that's that on that. Offensive line, not great. 6 sacks given up. Jalen Duncan, he had his welcome to the NFL moment. He got his butt whooped. Dylan Radins, I don't think did much better. Everybody did pretty low. Skoronski didn't have a great game either. Offensive line as a whole has been horrible all year long. You know, special teams has been a disaster with the exception of Ryan Stonehouse and Nick Folk. Now Stonehouse is gone. I mean, Eric Garrett has kind of redeemed himself a little bit, even though he had that one muff in Jacksonville. But I don't think it's been terrible. But the special teams thing has been going on for way too long. And that's why they finally fired Craig Ackerman, the special teams coach, today. Long overdue. You had kicking issues all the time. You know, you gave up a bunch of you know, you couldn't find, you know, you had kicking problem, couldn't find a kicker. You give, you know, you're going through people left and right trying to find a punt returner. Adoree Jackson couldn't do it. Mason Kinsey couldn't do it. Chester Rogers couldn't do it. Kyle Phillips couldn't do it. Eric Garrett might be able to do it. We'll see. He's not that bad. But then you've went through kicker after kicker after kicker. Also, we go back to, I believe it was the 2019-2020 season where Brett Kern got hurt and then they had to go find another punter. They got a punter, Ryan Allen, formerly of New England. He did just fine against Chicago, and then they decided it was just a smart idea not to keep him going, but to go get another punter. Went and got FedEx guy who went on to shank a punt and get one blocked against the Colts. So this was long overdue with Craig Aukerman being fired. But the question is asked, whose decision was it to fire Aukerman? Did Vrabel do it on his own, or did somebody make him do it? And I'm really ready, and I'm really leaning towards the latter. That I think somebody else ran, or Miss Amy got to him and said, fire that guy. Fire that guy right now. Because I don't think Vrabel did it on his own. He didn't just say, you know what, this is it. I got to fire this guy right now. I don't think Vrabel did it on his own. I do not think Vrabel, Pinball said it. I think he was forced to. Because, again, this is like a Mike Mularkey situation. Mike Vrabel has extreme loyalty to his coaches, and that's going to get him burned. So I do think that he was forced to make that move. He didn't want to do it because he could have done it after last year, could have done it the year before. This is something that's been going on for years. This ain't something that just happened. This is something that's been going on for years, and it's about time. But do not think that just because he fired Craig Aukerman that, all problems are solved. I listened to one of my favorite shows, Stillman and Company. He said, what does that do for the rest of the season? It's over. It was too late to make this move. And I absolutely agree. You waited too long. Again, Carolina's always said this. Do you wait? Do you do something a year too early, or do you wait and it's a year too late? This was about 3 years too late. So I think this is about 3 years too late. So again, he was forced to make the move. But this leads me to a public service announcement that I made earlier. And I'm going to take a quick break for about 10 seconds. And we're going to come right back. And we're going to definitely get into something that I want to talk about. And this again goes a little bit further than just the special teams coach. And so y'all give me 10 seconds and we finna get right into that. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this laugh and this part of the show goes to a very, very, very special group of individuals in Titan Nation. This goes out to all you darn Vrabel supporters. How y'all feeling today? How you like them now? How you like Vrabel now? Vrabel now? Y'all Vrabel supporters, y'all hold on to Mike Vrabel's jock. Y'all be all on him like he's just such a great coach. And I'm like, y'all are delusional. Ooh, I love y'all Vrabel supporters because y'all be funny as hell. And let me tell you, I mean, I put it out on Twitter. I put it out on Twitter for all Vrabel supporters. I said, how you like me now? Some of y'all was saying, eat crap and all that, and you don't know what you're talking about. You're screwed up. You are crazy. And I got to tell you is, how y'all feeling today, aren't you? Y'all Vrabel supporters are some of the most delusional fans in the freaking world. I'm doing this again. I love the Tennessee Titans through and through, as y'all can see. But all I got to say is, for all y'all Vrabel supporters, y'all are getting what's coming to you. Why? Mike Vrabel. Y'all knew Mike Vrabel was going to let you down. As Stephen A. would say about the Cowboys, Mike Vrabel is an accident waiting to happen. And yesterday's game was just another one. Mike Vrabel looked all sad and pitiful, hands on his knees, head down, didn't know what to do with himself. Y'all Vrabel supporters, and I know you know who you are. Mr. J Ball on Twitter, Mr. Titan Man, Titan for Life 615, Jordan Matthews 21. I know who y'all are. Y'all were the ones talking shit about me, y'all was talking shit, responding, talking about, something is wrong with you, you screwed up. And a lot of more people was talking about I'm delusional, but hey, I come real. I'm just being honest, telling the truth. I'm not here to hurt nobody, and honestly, I'm just having a little fun with you. No real disrespect. I'm not going to call nobody no names or nothing like that, because that ain't how I was raised. So, I know Twitter can be a scary place. And I know I did that on Twitter just to ruffle some feathers. And dagrabbit, I ruffled a few feathers. I know I did. But y'all believed in Vrabel so much, he done messed around and cost y'all. How y'all feel about 4-15 in your last 19 games? How do you feel about the fact that he done took over? He's in control, and to put together an even worse offensive line than last year. Andre Dillon, NPF. Aaron Brewer, he's tougher than a $2 steak. No, he's not. Offensive line sucks worse than last year. Defense can't stop nobody, and you got your punter hurt. Y'all think Mike Vrabel's still a great coach now? I heard some of y'all out there on Twitter, and everyone talking about, this is bad. That, why are you talking about Mike Vrabel? Why you want him gone so quick? He'll have everybody lined up. He'll have a job in 5 minutes. And so let his bum ass go somewhere. Because all of you Vrabel supporters talk about, well, he'll have a job in 5 minutes somewhere else. He'll be somewhere else. Let his ass go. Simply put, because then Miss Amy ain't got to pay all that money to him. And number two, he'll go somewhere and suck somewhere else. And all of y'all Vrabel supporters talk about, well, it's not Vrabel's fault. He don't have no talent. He don't have no talent. Okay. So y'all just gonna forget about 2021. We go through 91 players. All those guys on the practice squad, all those kickers. We didn't have a whole bunch of talent then either. Yeah, you had Tannehill. Yeah, you had Henry. Yeah, you had AJ. Yeah, you had Big Jeff. You had Harold Landry before he got hurt. You had a few, but you still had some issues on your offensive line. You had injuries on your offensive line. Corey Davis wasn't all that great. Julio Jones couldn't stay healthy. And when it mattered, you couldn't stop the Bengals. And he had an incompetent offensive coordinator. And then Jim Schwartz goes to Cleveland. Now you have an incompetent defensive coordinator. You have nothing. And everybody want to blame talent. But in 2021, you go through 91 players and you still somehow got the number one seed. How is this year any different? Only thing is, you're not getting hit with the injury bug. It's crazy. Now, yesterday hit us pretty hard. But for the most part of the season, you've been relatively healthy. Yet you can't win a game to save your damn life. After the Green Bay game, Todd Downing gets stopped for DUI. What does Vrabel do? Does he discipline him? No. Just a slap on the wrist. Just a one game you can't coach game. Just a slap on the wrist. And it wasn't really much of that. And you could have auditioned Tim Kelly when you had the chance. You didn't. You could have fired Craig Aukerman. You didn't. We had talent then. But everybody keeps saying, well, if Vrabel had a good enough talent around or a good roster, he would win. So y'all are basically treating him like Tannehill. Remember how he said we got to be great around Tannehill? So basically, for Mike Vrabel to be successful, you have to already be great around him instead of him building from the ground up. And I guess a lot of y'all forget. A lot of you Vrabel supporters forget. Mike Vrabel didn't come into a bad situation. He came into a great situation. He basically kept going off the back of Mike Mularkey. Mike Mularkey took that team from 3 to 9 wins. Missed the playoffs by a game the following year. Not only got into the playoffs, won a playoff game. And John Robinson still wanted to fire him. Why? Because John Robinson wanted to get his guy. He thought Vrabel was his guy. And if he didn't get him then, he wasn't going to get him. So Vrabel comes in, basically it's like a house. Vrabel has already come in. The foundation is already built. The house is kind of already put together. Mainly all you got to do is get some appliances in there. You may have to knock a wall down and replace some wiring and stuff like that. But Vrabel already came into a house pretty much built. Minus a few, few things here and there. And everybody want to say, he's such a good coach. He's such a good coach. We're lucky to have him. Who can you get better? Who you going to hire? I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to give y'all some examples of great coaches. For example, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Now, I know all of y'all going to say he already had talent when he was there. No, he didn't. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch had to build that team from the ground up. Jimmy Garoppolo was the starting quarterback at the time. He didn't have Brock Purdy then. He didn't have Nick Bosa then. He didn't have Brandon Ayuk then. He didn't have Deebo Samuel then. He didn't have none of the good players he got now. He had to literally, him and John Lynch had to build from the ground up and become good. And then they had a year, they were successful, and then they had 1 year where everybody got decimated due to injury and went 6-10. Gave them a pack because they were like, hey, everybody got hurt. The following year, everybody comes back 10-7. Went to the playoffs. Following year, 13-4. Got to the championship game. That's a great coach. Andy Reid's another one. Went in, already had Alex Smith at quarterback. They decided to go get Patrick Mahomes anyway. Now, he had a few decent pieces around, but Travis Kelce wasn't the big name he is today. Now, Tyreek Hill was just known as a fast guy, but he was a complete receiver with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes made that whole team go. And here's another example of a really good to great coach, Doug Peterson. Trent Baalke, first year as general manager, hires Urban Meyer. Drafts Trevor Lawrence at number 1. Urban Meyer doesn't even make it through his first season and got fired. Nearly ruined Trevor Lawrence. The following year, Trent Baalke brings in an offensive guy by the name of Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson has literally saved Trevor Lawrence's career. Saved his career. And the Jags looking good. Zach Taylor had to build from the ground up in Cincinnati. But they get Joe Burrow. They knew they had problems on the offensive line, but they still went and got Jamar Chase. And somebody asked a question and said, Dashville Tube said, who's the first round pick, Harrison Jr. or the O-line? Now, in most instances, I would say the O-line. But if you got a chance at Marvin Harrison Jr., there is no way on God's green earth I'm passing that up. I'm sorry. Yes, O-line is important, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational talent. That dude is effing special, and there is no way I'm passing on that. And Big Dog is right. Kyle Shanahan didn't have Christian McCaffrey either. He had Raheem Mostert, very good back, who ended up going to Miami. And again, Vrabel is a decent coach. And Jared on Stillman and Company said it. He's a good motivator. Yes, he's a good motivator as a player's coach. Up in Nashville, you know whoever was a good motivator? There was a hockey coach by the name of Peter Laviolette for the Nashville Predators. And like Vrabel, good motivation. They both came into situations with a pretty good team already built. But after time, yeah, they had early success, but then it slowly started to go down. And after that, the message got stale. So that's what happened. That's just facts. That's just the truth. And I know a lot of y'all will say, well, and then of course, some of the Vrabel supporters talk about, well, we did have an offensive minded coach in Ken Wisenhunt. How did that go? Ken Wisenhunt was basically an offensive version of Vrabel, but worse. He was a stubborn, arrogant, you know what. He, just like Vrabel, thought he knew everything and everybody else knew nothing and nearly got Mariota killed. Ken Wisenhunt wasn't good for the team that we were trying to build. Mike Vrabel is good when everything else around him is good. Mike Vrabel is not a guy that can lead a rebuild. And that's what we're going to have to do. He denied the rebuild in the offseason. When Rand was hired, he's like, well, we're not rebuilding. We're going to compete right now, and we can win the division, and we're going to go to the playoffs, all of that. He didn't want to rebuild. He denied the rebuilding when everybody else around him said, you need to rebuild now. And so again, Vrabel has done a very good job while he was here. But his time has run its course. It's time for fresh blood. And so now for all of you Vrabel supporters talking about, well, who can you get to replace him? If you fire Vrabel, who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to replace him with? And that's a great question. And before you can hire, now think about this again. He's about to have his second straight losing season. We all thought last year was just an anomaly. This year has proven last year was no anomaly. We're not good anymore. Went 7-10 last year. You're most likely going 4-13, at best 5-12 this year, which will mean you're either going to finish, you would have played 24 games. You would have either lost 20, 19, or 20 of your last 24 games. You're either going to go 4-20 or 5-19 in your last year and a half. In any other organization, a coach would be fired for that. But no, you Vrabel supporters just say it's not Vrabel's fault. It's the roster. It's John Robinson. John Robinson was fired already. He gone. He ain't coming back. Get over that. A lot of the guys that are on this roster now, a lot of the John Robinson guys are gone. A lot of these guys Vrabel chose to hold on to. Aaron Brewer, he chose to hold on to. Andre Dillard, Vrabel wanted to sign him. He wanted Chris Hubbard, who was not bad. He wanted NWI back. He didn't want to trade Tannehill when he probably could have and gotten something for him. So this is all Mike Vrabel's fault. And as the missus would say, playoffs? You kidding me? And I know there are some of y'all that are like, Truth, how dare you talk bad about this team? How dare you talk bad about Vrabel? Hey, I'm just spitting the truth. Come tell me I'm wrong when I've just spit out some facts for you. Somebody tell me I'm wrong and I'm crazy. Well, I mean, I am a little crazy. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, I'm a crazy, silly guy. But tell me I'm wrong about this Titan situation. I dare you. And you got to come with some substance. RK says, player development where Vrabel lacks. He screwed up the chance of C.J. Stroud. Yep, because he didn't keep his mouth shut. Vrabel has one game plan. Use it over and over. Good coaches figure Vrabel out. Yep, predictable. Good coaches in our division. Shane Steichen is getting the most out of Gardner Minshew, and they have turned that team around. Houston, D'Amico Ryan doing a great job, although he's about to face a problem because Bobby Slowick is going to be gone. He's been just hiring his Texan guys. That's who said, I appreciate what Vrabel's done over the last 5 years, but we need a new leader, new system. I agree. Colts missed on a top quarterback, running back, and don't have a great line, but they seem to be prepared and executed. When you're well coached, you can overcome a lot. Exactly. And everybody want to say it's the roster's fault, it's the players' fault. No, good coaching can outdo any roster problem, because if you are a good coach, you know how to adapt to situations. You know how to put your players in the best position to succeed. It's like, okay, I see they're running this defense. Okay, if we run this route, this receiver will be open right there. Or as a defense, it's like, okay, we see the Titans are struggling. The Titans offensive line, they struggle against twist. We're going to use that. The defensive coordinators are following what everybody else has done. And so all you Vrabel supporters, y'all need to come to light. Come to grips with the fact that your savior, Mike Vrabel, isn't your savior anymore. It's over. And the only reason the Tennessee Titans will hold on to him to the end of the year is because there could be a trade partner out there. Patriots, Commanders, Panthers, possibly Chargers. There's 4 openings right there. Raiders is open. That's 5. All going to be looking for new head coaches. And speaking of head coaches, and Trilogy just said, yeah, he a good coach when you have a roster around him. But when you don't, he doesn't elevate anybody. And so speaking about who could you hire to replace Vrabel, I have 5 names here of coaches I want. Not in no particular order. But if the Patriots want Vrabel, they can have him. Now, I would say this. If nobody wants to trade for Vrabel, then you fire him. But you better have a guy in mind already ready to go. You better have a coach in mind already ready. I would be doing some secret interviews behind Vrabel's back. Be like, okay, look, we might be doing this. I want you to be ready when we do. So here's a list of guys that I would go after if I'm the Titans. Number 1, and this is no particular order, but number 1 is Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator in Houston. Why? Very familiar with Rand Carthon. They worked together in San Francisco. Rand would know what players Bobby Slowick would need and want, and could get it for him. And again, I know Jared and I know some others have said, let's just clean house, fire all the coaches, fire Rand too. I would like to at least give Rand one offseason where he is in control, where he can hire his guy and do things his way. And now if the new coach and Rand don't work, then yeah, fire Rand, fire the coach, you start fresh. I'll give you that. But Bobby Slowick will be at the top of my list. Next up would be Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, and the Lions have been phenomenal this season. Next one is Eric Bieniemy, Washington offensive coordinator. He deserves a chance to be a head coach, and that would be a great dynamic. You have a black head coach and a black general manager together with a female owner. That would be something different. Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator in Philly. He was the quarterback's coach before being the offensive coordinator. He would know how to work with Will Levis. Now, the last one is kind of a out of left field. Is possibly bringing back Arthur Smith. Because Arthur Smith was a very good offensive coordinator. Although in Atlanta, they have had some issues. In Atlanta, they've struggled. Hold up. Ebony, is that my soul war coming in? How you doing? Okay, sorry, y'all had a quick technical difficulty, but is that by Soror? Love the blue. They may have already had secret meetings. Probably. I know they'll say it's tampering, but some meetings have happened. What about Harbaugh? I don't think I want Jim Harbaugh. I don't know if I want that. Philly says Rand doesn't deserve to be fired at this point. I agree. Slowick is the best fit from Bruce James. Keon says Brian or Ben for sure. And the reason I said Arthur Smith is because he was a very good offensive coordinator and he could do things his way. And he would kind of know the roster, even though the roster has kind of changed a bit. I just said that as a out of left field, out of the box idea. He would be last on that list, in my honest opinion. So, like I said, any team that wants Vrabel can have him. No one is trading for a coach. Here's the thing. That has happened before. Last year, happened with Sean Payton. Saints got a 1 and a 3, and Payton hadn't even coached in a year before that. He's turned Denver around. That's another example of a good coach. Was 1 and 5, and now they're 6 and 6 in the hunt. So, again, a good coach knows how to elevate his team. A good coach knows how to elevate his team. Mike Vrabel ain't that. And it's time to move on. I know Miss Mims is happy. Michigan and Alabama. And that's one other thing I do want to go on before I get out of here. What a travesty the college football playoff was. I mean, Michigan, yes. Washington, yes. Texas, yes. Alabama, no. Alabama did not deserve to be in the college football playoff. That should have still been Florida State. And Florida State got royally screwed because their quarterback got hurt. That's why Florida State is not in the college football playoff, and I thought that was an atrocity. I didn't think Alabama deserved to be there. But the committee thought, well, we can't go without. We got to have somebody from the SEC in there. I'm like, I think we could do one playoff without the SEC in there. The SEC isn't good enough with the other 3 teams that were in there. Texas beat Alabama earlier this season. Michigan, undefeated. Washington, undefeated. Texas, yes, they have a loss, but they beat the crap out of Oklahoma State, and they beat Alabama. Florida State, undefeated. It is not their fault for what was in front of them. They went undefeated, won the conference championship. The Noles should be in there. Alabama lost to Texas. They're not good enough. Should not be in there. And congratulations, I believe. Also, I saw on the Heisman, I believe Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, I want to say Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels are the leads for the Heisman. Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Bo Nix, and Michael Penix Jr., not Neighbors. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback of LSU, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver at Ohio State, who I hope we get, Bo Nix, quarterback of Oregon, and Michael Penix Jr., quarterback Washington, are the 4 Heisman finalists. And I think Bo Nix could win it. I think Marvin Harrison could win it. So, Sean said, I bet Alabama beat Michigan. I hope Michigan beats the crap out of Alabama because Alabama don't deserve to be there. I hope Michigan whoops Alabama's tail And as y'all can see, y'all take a look over there. What do I have over there? Michigan and Florida State. I mean, of course, I pay tribute to my alma mater of Memphis, but I am also a Noles and Wolverines fan. Drake May did not make the finals, and neither did Caleb Williams. So that's that on that. I wanted to basically mention that and everything, but I think that's going to just about do it. Sorry to all y'all Vrabel supporters. Hope y'all all right this evening. And I thank everybody for tuning in to TNT tonight. I hope everybody has a very good rest of the day. Let me see. Landon says, respectfully disagree with you on that. It's the 4 best, not the 4 most deserving. Unfortunately, Florida State is not one of the 4 best. Now, I do agree it's garbage that the quarterback being out. Well, Florida State was ranked 4th. They were one of the 4 best. They were one of the 4 best. And they literally kicked them out because Jordan Travis got hurt. That's it. There's no other way around it. But, hey, we'll all agree to disagree. Still going to be a good playoff. Go Blue. I think the Wolverines beat Texas in the national championship. That's my pick. Go Blue for the Wolverines. Philip says, as much as we complain about Vrabel, I don't think he's going nowhere, unfortunately. If we lose out, I think it can happen. I think if we lose out, we're going to see. If Amy Adams-Strunk keeps Mike Vrabel after losing out for a second straight year, you lost 7 in a row to end last year. You lose 6 in a row to end this year. There's no way you can keep him after that. But do you believe Florida State? Only thing is, I hate to say I agree with that. Without Jordan Travis, they probably can't beat one of the other 3. With Jordan Travis, I do think so. Truly saying Vrabel is not going nowhere. Then that means Amy lied to us and doesn't care about winning. But everybody, I want to say thank y'all for tuning into the show. Again, make sure y'all share the show out there, everybody, for TNT tonight. I'm your man, Blue Force, a.k.a. The Truth. Y'all have a very good rest of your evening. Wednesday, we'll have Stock Up, Stock Down, your star of the week done to the day, and we will talk about the drubbing that they're about to get in Miami. Holla at y'all, tighten up, because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.